like how that had a countdown.
Yeah,
That's
it
good.
was really good.
Hello.
That made it seem
Hello.
professional.
Hello, WebVee guide.
Hello.
People
Hello.
who watch WebVee guide. We are drinking wine, and what are you drinking?
This is rum.
We're starting as we mean to go on.
Thank you for watching. Welcome to this podcast.
Match the t-shirts.
Thank you
There you
much.
go.
Is it not a vodcast if it's got video?
It's a podcast if it's got alcohol.
Nice.
Never. Very
Wordplay.
clever.
You'll get a lot of that over the next however many minutes.
You'll notice that Henry is the odd one out. He needed to wear pink, and he failed.
Oh, I thought you just meant in general. Okay.
That too.
That's just the most obvious reason, but there are others.
It's Thursday at 10:30 at night, and it's the UK and London, and it's scorching hot outside, which is probably the only time I think the second time that's been said in the UK's history, and
potentially
the first was the forming of the continent.
Very sweaty.
Probably quite shiny, yeah.
Yeah,
I think we've all
we're
got
probably
quite
a bit
shiny
shiny.
faces.
Yeah.
Sue's head is just elegantly covering Kate Hudson's the JJ,
Yes.
which is great.
We are not, trying to
I think that's
promote
the first time
Almost
I've ever
Famous,
heard you
however.
use that word.
I know, I was searching for the
JJ.
right... How would you describe Kate Hudson's nethers?
Well, I would have said her ass, but,
Oh, really?
You went for the front bottom.
I went, yeah, I find it...
Stop
I
talking.
thought it was more charming.
Please stop talking.
Can we say front bottom? Is
Can we
that
say
alright?
front bottom on my B, guys? Can we say Kate Hudson's front bottom? Should we start this again?
No, this is good. This is raw stuff.
Yeah, we should probably introduce ourselves for those that don't know why we're rambling.
Yeah.
I don't think introducing ourselves is going to explain
I think
that,
they've
but-
already logged off, but
Yeah.
this is not
The
good.
first 30 seconds of a video really has to be killer
Yeah,
for
see,
people to stay with it.
that's important information.
Which is
Bye-bye,
an important
audience.
sort of point about online video.
There we are.
So,
See?
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah,
See?
segue.
That's what I was
It's
saying.
good.
He's,
Good
he's jumped right
segue.
in there.
You've got to get
Okay.
that 30 seconds to be popping, which we haven't just done.
No. How
So
are we
we're
doing?
sort of,
Are we failing?
Yeah, I think we're failing.
Um,
I'm Paul. Hello. I'm co-creator of Future Duck with him. That's Henry.
you just point to Sue.
Oh yeah,
him.
it's because the
There's
perspective's
no...
a little bit off.
Yeah, we're in two
on the
dimensions
video.
at the moment. Okay. Like the cartoon, segue.
There you go.
Segue.
Segue.
That's going to be our word
Oh,
of
we've
the
got
day.
a catchphrase. Oh, God. Okay. I'm Henry. I co-create Future Duck as well with him.
Not Sue.
I am, in fact, a woman.
Mm.
That's your introduction. Okay.
Yeah, I'm beating it back for the ladies in this room. There's far too much testosterone
Yes.
flying.
This is not just proof we know
Well,
them.
I'm Kate
Sue
as
does
well, but she's not really.
many,
Yeah.
many things.
Kate is sat on my
representing
head,
herself.
you
Yeah.
know, so...
Pick yourself up. Don't just hang up on my, hang out on my bed.
Fine, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm Susan Clark, and I'm the writer and creator of Chronicles of Syntax. And yeah, I'm probably old school and your peers in some way. In the fact
what
that
sense?
my
Sue's
series is
drunker.
older than yours.
Right,
Yes.
I see.
So
Okay.
so Future Duck is one of the new hottest, awesomest, award-winning, crazy animation of all time. Don't squish my head. Do not squish my head. No.
Squishing your head.
No.
We could also do some awful
I can
things
make
to
it look
Kate
like I
Hudson
have a Sue like
using
fireball.
that technique, but that's
I would
not-
make an awesome fireball.
Yeah, and Sue can.
And Chronicles is about 2 years old now. It was one of the very first sci-fi long-form series out of the UK.
Do you think of it as a 2-year-old?
I do think of it as a 2-year-old.
Little.
Like a little
little
baby.
baby.
You don't
Yeah.
have to change its nappies anymore.
No,
but,
exactly. And the first year, it was tough.
starting to-
It was a tough thing,
It
yeah.
can say sentences now.
That's
it's,
it.
you
It
know.
stands on its own 2 feet.
I guess
a
by
bit.
contrast, Future Duck is still doing liquid shits.
Yes. It's kind of just crying and moaning and being a general nuisance to everyone.
Yeah.
So that's us. That's who we are. And we met in LA.
We
We
did.
didn't meet in LA.
No, we didn't meet in LA. We
No.
met in LA, and
We met.
The
in
story
a
has
pub.
already got too complicated.
Yeah.
Yes, we met in LA
we met in LA.
at the LA Webfest.
Mhm.
On the coach going to the LA Webfest, where I
Mhm.
met Sue and
You
Chris.
were on my plane.
I was, but we didn't know about that
No,
at
no,
that
we
point.
didn't know
That
about
would have been weird.
Oh yeah, shout out to all my amazing cast and crew that could actually not be here this evening. Hence why I'm representing.
Hello.
Love you guys.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, go on. So, coach.
Shout out to all our cast. We don't have crew.
No.
to shout out to.
But
But
to Sam
that's
and
'cause
to
we're
Chris
lovely.
and to Rachel and to Kate and to Terry and to all of the supporting characters, thank you very much.
Good night.
That's
And
it.
I'm done!
Wait. We met at the LA Web Fest, which is an awesome web festival in LA, hence the name. And we met on the coach going there. And I was definitely the newbie. And Sue and Chris from Syntax took me very much under their wing and looked after me. And I
He
looked.
looks terrified.
He looked terrified.
I did
Oh,
look
well,
terrified.
sorry, I thought you meant now.
My natural resting face is terrified, so it was bad. And they were lovely to me the whole time, and I kind of got introduced to the whole UK web series community, which is fantastic. So, and Chris from Syntax, and Elisar and Lisa from Threesome, and who else was out there? Caitlin from Wimpole Street, and whole gang. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, and getting to know the sort of UK web scene was really, really fun,
So
actually.
that's a really interesting question because I think that's what.
Oh, we have questions.
Yeah, no,
My God.
I have
The
some
structure?
form of structure,
Okay.
like forming in my brain here. But like when I started Chronicles and I was doing Chronicles and literally it was such a big production that literally I think you guys will probably have the same thing, like the same experiences. You kind of get blinkers on and you're just focusing on the series that you're working on and you don't really think about the industry at large. In fact, the fact that there was a web series industry came as a huge shock to me when I went to Comic-Con for the first time and I started to meet, Elisar and Darren Chadwick Hussein, and suddenly there's this huge community, this really lovely, caring community that you can get involved with. And
Yeah, completely.
But I mean, I think we were introduced to that only really through the festivals. I mean, Comic-Con came a lot later. But I think when we actually, finished Future Duck, we didn't actually know that there was any festivals that we could enter it into. So, Henry started Googling it and sort of like, is there a portal where we can actually...
Amongst all the porn searches.
Amongst all the standard, everyday searches, are there places that we could actually get this show some sort of acknowledgement or some sort of audience outside of just posting it on YouTube and see what happens?
sure.
And I think, I think we were both pretty much amazed that there was such a, broad spectrum of festivals that cater entirely to web stuff, but then also stuff that does both TV and web and, the whole shebang. There's a lot out there.
Yeah, completely.
So would you say that YouTube is only the beginning? And
In that voice.
In that voice.
In that
would
slightly
you say
trailer-
that because
trailer
it
voice.
kind of feels
That's like
like
Vin Diesel.
Only the beginning.
Ooh.
ooh, that was good.
Can you say
You
I
can
am?
do it better,
Can
actually.
you say I am Groot?
No.
No.
I like
No.
how you started and then decided that you couldn't.
Yes.
Yes,
In a
so
world.
I
it's
think
just like
that's
a
interesting
trailer.
though, because a lot of people just kind of go, "Oh, well, I made a thing, I'm going to stick it online." But the web series thing, specifically in the last year or so, has absolutely gone crazy. Like
Yeah, totally.
Rain Dance has got its own, the film festival in London's got its own web series section now.
It's the difference
Big
between the
time.
UK
I
and
mean-
the US as well, isn't it?
Mm.
I think the US takes it a lot more seriously, or well, not seriously, but they, I guess, see the potential of it a little bit more than maybe they do over here.
I think we're about 5 years behind the US in the mentality for web series, and that's not necessarily because of the people that are involved in it. It's because
And literally in time, they have hover cars
that's it.
and.
But
yeah.
I mean, like literally just the bigger industry, how they're starting to react to the online world and stuff like that seems to be a little behind the US, just
Sure.
a little.
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely. I
But,
think
I mean-
the US is taking... Sorry, Henry. go on.
Sorry. I mean, just like you were saying, it
We're
doesn't.
getting into it now. We're
I
talking
know,
over
yeah,
each other.
I know.
Ooh,
It's,
sorry.
it's almost
It all
like
started
Anecdote.
out as like Kate Hudson's arse crack and stuff, but now we're like, no, now we're into it.
just have a drink. Have a
No, I
drink.
was just sort of picking up on what you were saying about
Yeah,
the
no,
sort of
carry on, please,
community
yeah.
things. I mean,
Yeah,
although, I think industry-wise, there's probably it's a little bit more advanced and there's a little bit more sort of acceptance of the scene there and stuff. It still feels like the community here is definitely kind of very sort of supportive and very sort of. I don't know what's the word, like accepting, welcoming. I don't know. I mean, we kind of just
Sure.
stumbled into it, and now
It's a
kind of
family.
know a lot of folk in it, and it's very, very nice. And I think we definitely kind of came to it from because we both have a sort of TV background, and kind of made it just almost out of frustration, really. Just like, let's make our own show, and just do it because we both come from a background of, as a lot of people do these days, kind of, be shooting and editing your own stuff and doing all that side of it, and just, saying, well, let's just do it, let's write it, let's get it out there, and not really thinking of it as a web series, just thinking of it as a thing of, let's make what we can make and get it out there and see, what we have at the end of it and what people think of it, and then finding that there is actually, other people doing that is
I think
quite nice.
Making
really.
something for the internet or YouTube in general means that you get to have direct audience feedback, which you just don't get anywhere else.
And they can be brutal.
They can be, but at the same time, but either one is awesome feedback. If you piss people off, which we have done many times with the stuff that we've done, then that's good feedback too. It doesn't mean that they're right. It's just
every reaction is a good reaction.
Yeah, it's just interesting, and like if you make something for TV, like we've done in the past, it's like you might get a few critics in the papers or whatever say stuff. But that doesn't.
They'll never say die in a fire.
Yeah. They'll never say you're well gay. Just fuck off and die. Yeah.
It would be great. I'd love it if the Guardian just came out with that. It'd be nice.
We
I'd like
had
that.
jokes made about us. We had one of the very first sort of things that everybody was like, oh, "That's our first negative comment. Do we respond? Do we not respond?"
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, the whole
Like,
do you respond? Do you not
The
respond?
heartbreak of a thumbs down.
Yeah, we've done like a teaser trailer, and then we've done like a full trailer. And remember, like my fan base, they were hanging around, bless their hearts, for a year or so before we started shooting, and it was going to be on the BBC, and then it was going to be a podcast, and then it was going to be on TV, and then eventually we were just like, look, our fans are so worldwide, it needs to go online. And so we had these two trailers, and that's all they had for ages. And the first negative comment we had was like a joke that said, how many trailers does it take to make a Chronicles of Syntax series?
And you were like,
and we were just ouch. And then, but do you know what? We ignored it, and the fan base kicked in after that, and they were just like, well, 2. They've only done 2. It was really lovely.
You see, that's the thing. We don't have. We might have now a little one, but we don't really have like a fan base who sort of supports, or apart from like our immediate friends and family.
Yeah, you could have just stopped there. We don't really have a fan
We
base.
don't have a fan base at all.
Dude, you should have seen them at Comic-Con. They were swamped.
On that note, I think one of the things we did do with the first episode of Future Duck quite consciously was almost like preempt the backlash, I suppose, because we kind of made it a bit meta and a bit of a comment on flaming on comments and message boards and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so we have scenes where, they're looking at the comments and it's saying, shit, total shit and stuff. And so a lot of the comments on that first episode are shit, total shit. I hope your face catches on fire and someone puts it out with a
But
fork.
then that's quoting.
But that, well, we hope it is.
It is quoting.
It might not be.
Well, no, because we actually.
But if it
what
isn't,
we did
then
was
we can say that it is.
We posted the trailer for Future Duck, and we actually already had a troll on the channel that was the thing was posted on. We had a troll who was already like every mention of Future Duck.
Kazuga, you know who you are.
Yeah.
Oh dear, don't name and shame.
He's named and shamed.
He's literally like,
You're like
I
the
got
Sun
into their
newspaper.
head. I got into their head rent free.
But anyway, so he was trolling us a little bit, just sort of saying slightly negative things. So what we did was when we
different guy. Not you.
See, now you feel bad. You feel bad now.
Sorry, no, I'm completely the wrong person.
Right. Anyway.
This is a different story.
Okay,
Apologise,
so
it's fine.
So yeah, we had this troll who was giving us negative comments. So what we did was when we were making episode 1, and we had the scene where the negative comments were sort of being listed and being read out by Future Duck, we actually took one of the negative comments from the trailer and put it into that sequence. It's just as a little nod to our own kind of experience.
I know the one you mean now. Yes, the comment was trying a bit too hard to be lol random.
That's
question mark. Maybe.
It's like, why is that? Trying a bit too hard to be lol random. Like
we were trying hard to be lol random.
Stupid internet term,
Do you know
lol
what,
random.
like, do you know what
but
the
no, the
series
other
thing-
one was.
No, we're trying to be funny.
We
Anyway.
can, no, but seriously, we can laugh about it now. But for people who are
I
starting
can't
out,
laugh about it.
you,
Yeah.
No,
you
I
can
can't.
imagine. I will pre-warn you. There will be, mental traumas like that.
Of course,
you
yeah.
seem to think, oh my god,
Oh, you
people
agonise.
reacting.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
completely
over it,
agonise because people will watch it and not think of anything of it because
Sure.
they've taken 20 seconds to watch it, and then just gone, no, fuck that, or whatever, and written that. But then you've taken like 4 months to make it,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you do agonise. Yeah,
So
you completely
all of the negative comments do
as
hurt
much
a
as you
little
want
bit,
to be indifferent and
but
cool.
if the majority of them are positive or at least okay, then you're okay.
And it's the internet.
And
It
to
does
be honest,
not matter
even if
what you make.
Yeah, even
does not matter.
if it's all negative comments, doesn't mean that they're right.
Exactly. But you know what? You almost made a segue.
Segue.
'Cause I really
Segue.
wanted...
We need like a foghorn or
Catchphrase
something.
count,
for when
yeah, where's a
segue
bell?
happens.
Wait, get your duck thing. Get your
Oh
duck
yeah,
thing.
okay, I'll
Get
get that.
my duck thing.
Oh no,
No,
that's
it's okay. I didn't spill wine on your bed. It's fine.
okay. The duck calls are actually at my house,
Oh, no.
but this can be this
No,
this
I'm
can be
sorry.
segue duck. Whenever a
This is-
segue happens, we'll just segue duck.
This is
Segue
an
duck.
interesting
Segue duck.
conversation though, because I have never heard this. I've never heard this conversation. I've never heard this question. Okay, so I'm gonna throw it at you guys.
Okay,
Okay,
so this is a 100% original question.
it probably isn't, but in my
Okay.
head it is. In my experience,
No,
it is.
go for it.
Okay, so you guys are saying that you work in film and stuff. Is it an absolute myth that you can work on web series and live off it, and not have to do a 9 to 5 and
Yes,
Pay
you're all going to
away.
die in a gutter.
No, but seriously though, people who are starting out,
No,
assume that, or sometimes assume that once they start making stuff, it's going to be, easy sailing, and you can
Well,
drop your,
I think
9
you
5
have to
and jump
have
on it.
an end goal in mind. And I think you don't necessarily have to immediately know what that is, but I think at some point you should know what it is. So whether that end goal is, I am going to focus on my channel and I'm going to try and get my revenue from adverts and sponsorship and trying to build my channel up into an entity in itself, which can be difficult if the content you're putting out is very, very, produced, takes a long time to make, that sort of content, which is why a lot of the most successful channels are vloggers and people who just have to point the camera at themselves and have a haircut and go, hey guys, and all of that. And
Oh,
what was that? Was that bad?
Yes, all
Okay,
the YouTubers
sorry.
in the world just
Wow.
bitch slapped you.
Vlogger
Wow.
slam.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
sorry.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I need a separate duck for that.
what I'm saying is, no, a lot of the, that sort of content, they're very, very talented and they're fantastic sort of guys, but it's a very different sort of thing to doing a fully produced sort of
Sure, I think
video with a crew or what have you.
it
That
takes
can take a lot of time.
it takes 12 to 18 months, I think, to make a successful channel, and you have to be making content on like a very, very regular basis to keep your audience interested. So, as Henry says, somebody who is a vlogger or somebody who has a very basic animation style or what have you that can turn that stuff around within a week, you've probably got more chance of making a successful channel than somebody, like us, who spends 3 or 4 months, making a couple of episodes, and we only get to release, a bit of content like every few months or whatever. In order to keep that audience interested and therefore grow your subscribers and grow your channel, you have to be mass producing.
It has to be a passion project.
Very, very
really.
sensible and less sensational way of
No,
saying
it
that.
does.
Yes,
He's
no,
right.
absolutely,
He's right.
completely
It has to
agree.
be a passion project
Completely agree.
because it took. You guys worked for a year on Future Duck. Me personally, I worked 7 years on Chronicles and a year for filming, etc.
Yeah.
So it has to be a story or a goal or an ambition that is going to drag you through one of the most stressful experiences.
But I mean, your
you
thing
will
with
ever have.
Chronicles, like you started out like as a podcast and stuff like that, didn't you?
This
So,
is it,
so you
yeah.
sort of developed the way that Chronicles was going to be, absorbed or whatever.
That's
So you could make a podcast in presumably a lot smaller a window of time
That's
than
it,
it would
yeah.
take to make a 20-minute episode.
This is it. But we only did 1 episode for the podcast before we took it to web. Most of our stuff was promotional stuff, so it was all posters, getting our website up, doing YouTube things, doing Twitter things, Facebook. When it was big at the time, it was a huge thing.
So what was the timeline there then? If in 7 years, like when did you make the podcast like in year 1, and then the rest of the years was promotion of that to get the show
Yeah,
made?
well, we were green. No, we
Well, how long
were
was the podcast?
amber lit by the BBC. The podcast was, I don't know, a couple of minutes. I think 5 maybe or so. I don't know, whatever it takes to put. It's literally episode 1 that you see online via podcast. I haven't actually looked at it in ages, so I don't really know how long it is. So we did the podcast because basically, and this happens as well, we signed up with a producer because we had been amberlit for the BBC, and they were like, okay, get us a trailer and we'll see what's what.
Right.
And sort of me being very young and very naive and not having the right backup at the time, signed away my whole everything, basically. That's not a story I tell very often, but it does happen, so I want you to know about it. And so essentially, for 9 months, I was battling that back. So that's a whole load of time. I was finishing my degree at the same time. I was full-time education, part-time working, and working on Chronicles, establishing my production company at the same time, which is interesting. And I was answering calls about Chronicles in my cap and gown, that kind of thing.
Just run me through the timeline then, though, of like going from a 5-minute podcast through 7 years to making the show. Like, what are those 7 years? Because that's a long ass time.
Yeah, it is. So Chronicles was a pilot first. I had it professionally read by Equity. That was the first step. Then we went into Amber. We started to do a trailer that needed to come together, casting, etc. Then we signed up with this producer, got that stolen, spent 9 months trying to get that back, got that back. Then wrote Primary Faction, which is essentially now season 1 that you know. But Chronicles of Syntax, the original pilot, is now episode 1 of season 3. So it completely altered because we needed to produce something that we could do in reality, something that was grounded more in reality than what the original pilot was. So that took me 50 days back to back to put 12 episodes of Primary Faction together, which is now season 1 Chronicles of Syntax. Of course, you've only seen 6 of those. This is really boring. You're probably bored. And then we went into.
We need a boredom duck.
That's it. We need a boredom duck. And then we went into production. And we did several weeks combat training. All my cast passed awards to do combat.
Did you do combat training?
I did not. I watched. I was asked to, Ronan Trainer.
Did you have to do
is
observer
amazing.
Training?
No, but I was still finalizing characters and stuff at the time, and I was asked to. They were like, "Come, join us. Handle this big ass sword," and I was like, "I'm scared. No, I'm good, thanks." In this corner, which, to be fair, if I could go back now, I probably would do it. So that's So then we started filming. We did another different trailer, which nobody has ever seen because that's the original pilot.
Was
trailer.
it after the light bulb joke?
They didn't
It
want.
was after the light bulb.
No, pull the trailer. Pull the third trailer.
No, but it just didn't come out right, so we didn't post that. And then we did Indiegogo, which was 47 days of pure stress, and got the money together and joined Channel Flip, which is the multi-channel network, and filmed it in 6 weeks solid, edited it together, had a big ass London premiere, and the rest is history.
You like saying the phrase "big ass"?
I do.
You do. That comes out. What was the phrase that you say that I say a lot the other day?
Oh,
not many.
Not
many.
Which will not make any sense to any of you guys. But
that's just good. That
was a segue. That was almost a segue.
That's a
half segue. Yeah, thank you.
Segue duck.
Just to kind of very, very, very quickly reel back to that original question. No, not at all. But what?
I was interested.
Yeah, completely. I'd never heard that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah,
It's my whole story. It's my life.
But no, I mean that original point. Before I offended every vlogger in the world.
You shouldn't mention it.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to just read. I'm not going to bring that.
Don't you? They have power.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologise. Every vlogger ever. That was. Anyway, no. Can we just cut that bit out? Can that not happen?
No,
can we
fine.
can we mosaic my
No,
face?
it's warts and all. It's good.
Look,
it's good.
I was trying to make a valid point, which is that if your goal is to have a successful channel, then you need to put all of your time into doing your successful channel, and ideally, you have to have very quick turnaround, easy. Content, so you can have regular stuff that you're putting out there, and vlogging is a way to do that.
Sure.
If you're doing sort of more involved, produced sort of content like something like Syntax or Future or something like that, that's going to take longer. It's going to take a lot more effort, and you're not going to be able to put out content as quickly.
And so, I would argue that vloggers, because of that, more people are going to want to be bloggers, and therefore you've got far more competition than someone who is coming up with like an original animation
completely.
style or an image.
Completely. And some people can, do both, like Tom Scar or what have you, which is fantastic. But my point is that your goal can be to build up your channel, or your goal can be to make like a web series that then you then try and sort of take somewhere or push to something, be it TV or be it sort of like getting more deals to do other web series or a second season or what have you. And there are different ways to sort of take it. But the original question was, can you make a living from it?
Yeah. Well, the main question do you?
That's what I was trying to.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Well, we're not making a living from it at the
No,
moment.
yeah.
We're having to do other jobs in the meantime. So some people can, but it's difficult. But I don't think.
It's an eventuality
If you want to make your
But it's-
entire living
yeah,
online
but
from advertising,
It's that thing
then
of like, if you want to do your dream job, if you want to live your dream, it's not going to be easy. And it's not going to be something that you can turn around in a year. It's like trying to be a professional actor, trying to be, any kind of person who gets paid to do the sort of stuff that we want to do. You've got to work at it. You've got to be consistently passionate about it. And then, hopefully one day it'll come together,
Yeah, but you don't have to work
But it's
in
not
the
guarantees.
industry in order to do this stuff. Like
No,
you guys
that's
both
true.
work in TV. I work in retail. There we are, bust that bubble for you. I work in retail. I've probably sold you something at some point. That sounded wrong. Anyway.
No, she works in. She's probably
Can't
fondled
say
your idols.
that, dude.
Why can't you say
It's
that?
promotion. You get me.
Other opticians are available.
Okay.
Vision
moving
Express.
That's
straight
funny.
on.
If that is the only word that we have to bleep out in this entire podcast,
Please do. Please bleep them all out because I don't want
Wow.
to get sacked. I like my job. But
When
but
there's
yeah.
like the BBFC certificate contains frequent references. Yeah.
Dude, you said again.
Stop
You
it.
can't
Sorry,
say
sorry.
Every time you say Sue gets closer to being
Does
fired.
it have to be like Dragon's Den? I work for a reasonably large opticians
Exactly.
company.
That's what it has to be.
Okay.
We've got-
Now
Sorry.
you know I'm gonna stop talking.
No, we'll bleep that, and that whole sequence will be really.
No,
funny.
wait. Carry on. What do you do?
I look like a dork for a living.
Anyway, yes, the point being that no, you don't have to work in the industry in order to have a successful web show or have, to win awards at festivals or what have you.
I think it's like anything else. The more you do of it, the better you're at.
Sure.
If you don't have to work in the industry in any means, but if you're not, then make sure that you're just continually making stuff, continually improving, and continually kind of pushing yourself.
I'd say the
Yes.
only thing that I find with working, because I do quite a lot of comedy stuff, like for my day-to-day job, is I feel like that sort of feeds the web stuff and vice versa.
Sure.
If you're doing, if you're making things for your job, then it also, you feel, I guess, more motivated or more inspired to do stuff off your own back. If you're doing stuff where you have to work for somebody else and work for a producer or an exec or a channel or whatever, or a lawyer who wants you to do it a certain way and what have you, and you have to do that because that's your job. When you can do the web stuff, you have complete creative control, you have freedom, and you don't have to answer to anybody. And I think that's quite refreshing.
No, that is a good point.
But
And
they do sort of feed into each other.
Yeah, but that is something that I guess the more funding or the higher up the sort of show is, the more notes you're going to get. If you're doing a TV show, you will get a load of notes, and you'll have to change it, and you'll probably have to make it into something that's watered down or whatever from what it originally was. If you're doing a film, times that by 100.
Sure, yeah.
If you're doing a web series, if you're doing completely your own thing, then you can make it completely your own thing. It can be your own vision. It can be your own sort of passion
absolutely.
project. If you're making it for a multi-channel network or something like that, you'll get some notes, but they will be less notes than you will get if you're making
Far
a
less notes.
TV show or something.
So
Segue.
many less notes.
Segue.
Segue, Doug.
Okay, so how about the people who want to make their own stuff but are determined to do it very much independently, don't want anybody coming in and touching it, or
Mhm.
collaborating in any way. Now, me personally, my team on a good day was like 100 people. And I know for a fact that my series would not have got anywhere without every single one of them. I personally like to work collaboratively. But you guys, you are your own team. What about people? I mean, I've seen it online, people talking about, well, I want to make this thing, but I either don't know who to contact to get a collaborative event going, or I don't want to work with anybody, I just want to do it all myself. Would you say that was healthy?
What, to do everything yourself? I mean, it's a difficult one because I think it depends on the individual. If somebody is capable of doing that, then yeah, why not? I mean, as I say, Henry and I do everything kind of ourselves, but that's because we have experience in, editing and what have you because of our jobs.
Mm.
So therefore, that's
You can tell it hasn't affected us at all.
We don't look tired.
So yeah, but if somebody is just starting out and they've never held a camera before or whatever, then no, I wouldn't say to them, all right, go off and film your web series.
Yeah.
Because there will be somebody who can do it better than you, and I think it would be slightly arrogant to think that you could do everything yourself if you've got no experience in it. And also, you will be amazed or not. Well, not amazed. I mean, it seems obvious to me, but you'll get so much more out of it if you hire somebody who has another perspective and can take whatever your original vision is and make it 10% better or 50% better in a way that you've never seen before, because other people are talented as well, so why not allow an extra creative input into the process? And if they aren't exactly what you think, then you don't have to use them or what have you. But what's going on?
I keep almost spilling my drink all over Henry's head. Sorry, Henry. Sorry.
So
I'm
yes,
just glad it's not red wine.
I just
That's going to
think
take some
it's
explaining.
yeah, I think other people can add a lot into the mix. Henry and I both did stuff independently before, but when we started working together and actually having somebody to bounce something off, our output became a lot funnier and a lot better as a result. And that works across the board. You get an awesome cameraman in, or in our case, for Future Duck, we got an awesome composer in, and the whole thing just became so much better than we can do. There are other talented people out there that can help you, so why wouldn't you want to get their input?
I think that, sorry.
Go on, no, you go.
I was just going to say, I think the best way you can be is to have a really clear vision for something and then be open to collaboration and suggestion, because then, you know what you want to get and you know what you where you want to go. But then if something or someone comes along, there's who can either do it better than you or has ideas that are going to improve the thing, then being open to that is the best way to be.
Yeah, it's very inspirational.
Try not to limit yourself. I know that. Well, I was saying to you earlier, wasn't I? I was like, we come from the same place. Just throw that out there, and it wasn't London.
That's Rotherham, not the same mother.
No. There's no woomage involved here.
Woomage?
Zero woomage. What duck was that? Woomage duck. Okay.
I don't know what that duck was.
But back home, there's a thriving. There is a thriving film industry over there, TV industry, and in Manchester as well. However,
have you said where we're from?
He did.
Did
We're gonna get stalked, dude. Stop it.
What?
Stop it. I'm making a point here.
Sorry.
How rude.
What?
I gotta put up with you. Anyway.
Future Duck.
Do you know what? I'm relying
go on,
on
Sue.
my amazing fan base to just make
Tell us
you
about
feel
your
bad.
upbringing in Rotherham.
Like, this
I'm
whole
not-
video
I'm
is going to be
just
watched
saying.
entirely by your fan base. We
Listen,
don't have one,
yeah.
so
No,
they're going to be like, what were you doing with those two Future
Yeah,
Duck dicks?
that's it. Hi, Megan. That's our fan
Yeah,
base.
Megan, if you're
And
watching.
Kira.
Wait.
Hey, Megan. And Winter as well. Hey, Winter.
Hey, Winter.
Oh
Just-
god. Okay.
That's our two
I
fans.
had a
Yeah.
point. I had
Sorry,
a
carry
point,
on.
dude. Just back up.
Rotherham. It was a cold, dark, lonely place.
It
Go
was.
from there.
Okay, but coming from a background that I was more into drama and theatre and stuff
Sure,
like
me
that.
too, yeah.
Back when I was younger and I was creative and I wanted to make all these stories, as a writer, that was all well and good, but the idea of accessing equipment and a crew and all that stuff seemed almost out of my reach completely. And then, moving to London, working with the BFI and things like that sort of really opened.
Do you think
my
that might also
options.
have been the sort of era, though, a little bit?
I think it might have been, yeah. I mean, we're like nearly the same age. It's like.
Well, no, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I just think back, when I was starting out and yourself as well, we had sort of like, we were saying earlier, DV cameras.
Yeah,
you have like a little mini DV camera. That was the best that you could get, and it's
Naturally.
like, but that was like, YouTube was just starting at that point. People were starting to film themselves more. Webcams were kind of a thing, but Skype.
I know we
and all
look ferociously youthful, but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we look a lot younger than we are. But the point I was trying
But
to make is
but now it's a lot easier. I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more
my
equipment accessible.
first short film that entered
absolutely.
a festival.
You can make a film on your phone these days.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was on a Nokia N8. So don't feel limited if I mean, a lot of our fans kind of look up to us as though we are the next Hollywood and stuff. Like it's a whole different world, like our own little bubble. But it's totally accessible.
You may need to rephrase that to your fan.
Why? Why?
Why are you looking at me? You said it.
You understand him more than I do.
I didn't understand.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, for anybody who's watching that has lots of dreams and doesn't know where to start, I'd say don't limit yourself. Just get on with it.
In terms of like equipment, or
Yeah, equipment. Get out there with your mates and a phone, and that's
the
your
thing,
your
isn't it?
start.
That's the
That's how
absolute
you
thing.
start.
Like the fact that you can actually make a successful viral video these days by just being on your phone. I'm not talking about like a cat with his trousers down or whatever.
Cat's wearing trousers.
Right? Cats wearing trousers. I'm trademarking that.
With a duck.
Anyone
Trademark
watching
duck.
this, trademark duck, cats wearing trousers is our next viral, so, back off.
I swear
But yes.
we look drunk. We're just giddy, I promise. We get giddy.
No, you're drunk.
I'm not drunk.
You are drunk.
I'm
It
really
only
not.
takes you one glass of wine to
It
get
does
drunk.
not. It's just these guys are far too funny.
I'm just registering catswearingtrousers.com.
Yeah.
And the Twitter. Seriously, fuck off.
Okay, I need to do a plug for you guys now, because if this is going out to the Chronicles fan base and you didn't see these guys at Comic Con, you need to get your ass over to this piece of paper that Henry is now going to lift up.
Oh, now I can.
You can lift
Is
up
that
your
how-
paper. You can lift up your
I
paper.
spent ages making this.
Plug duck.
Get over there and say hello, because they're awesome.
We'll reply. We promise to reply to every tweet ever.
Every tweet.
We're lonely.
Yeah. So that was my plug. I don't have a segue
I
for
like
that.
that. Can we plug you?
You go for
So,
it. Wait, what?
She doesn't have any piece of paper with
where's
her.
your piece of
You
paper?
didn't make me one, you selfish bastard.
Right, this
You thought about what swear to say then, didn't you?
this is how to follow Sue
Yeah, it started.
on Twitter.
Of course it did. That's where we draw the line on this
It's
podcast.
devolved.
Yeah, no C words. Anyway,
So, let's raise the tone.
Plug me.
Plug me.
Plug me.
Follow Chronicles of Syntax at COS
Co-syntax.
Co-syntax. Co-syntax.
Yeah,
Awesome
on Twitter.
plugging.
Yeah.
I'm yes, plug.
Plug.
It's awesome and it's great. And look on Chronicles of Syntax YouTube, and also for places it might be written down.
the cameraman in me is getting a little bit pissed off with this shot because I feel
Yeah,
like there's
I've
a
got-
lot
I've
of
got
dead
full on-
space.
No, I've got like half the frame here. This is
Sorry,
great.
No,
I'm
it's
just
not,
gonna get
it's not
closer.
you. No, it's not you because
Okay.
then you're
Okay.
over Henry's shoulder. It's this white area
You
here.
need
Well,
to,
let's
like,
put something there.
We need like a picture or something that's in that space.
Okay.
Like any filmmakers who are watching this will get what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Like if I
God, you guys are just out to destroy me.
oh nice.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
need to,
I
hold
feel
it
like-
up.
I feel like that needs to be on the back wall, doesn't it?
This is Muffin. If you haven't seen Future Duck, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay like this now, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Let's see how long you can hold that for.
How long have we actually
I have
been,
tremendous upper body strength.
This will be going into the 40th minute.
Oh, the 40th minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we should have a prize for anyone that's watched this long.
Are you trying to get that in front of my face on
No.
purpose?
No.
I'm going to hit you with the duck. That's it.
Okay.
Completely damaging duck.
I've got
Right.
I've got a sneeze.
Paul's got a sneeze. Okay, so...
Oh,
Oh my god.
sorry about that.
I think this has become completely arbitrary. Let's get back to a point.
Yes.
We want to do an hour and we do not want to make ourselves look ridiculous.
That ship sailed.
So take 2 then. The whole fucking thing. Sorry, beep that. Webcam. You...
Beep that webcam.
Okay. Sue,
It's not
you seem to
Siri.
be the one with questions and
I
things.
seem
Should we
to
ask
be-
you a question?
Yes, ask me one.
Okay, so assuming had you done a web series before Syntax?
No.
And Syntax was a big undertaking. I mean, I don't know if obviously most people watching this will be fans of Syntax, but every episode is half an hour long. It's a very involved production drama, a big undertaking.
Mhm.
So considering that was your first film or web series or anything of that nature to be shooting, can you tell us a bit about how you found that and how you adjusted to that? Because normally you would start with a much lower scale short
Normally.
or something
That's
and work
good
your way up.
question.
That's a
Good question, good solid
okay. First and
Thank you.
foremost, I blame Joss Whedon, who is God. I blame him first.
You blame God.
I blame God. Joss Whedon God, not regular God.
He's alright.
He's okay.
He gets a pass. Okay.
Just because, I grew up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and I adore character arcs of that nature. So essentially when I was writing something with absolutely no intention of personally doing anything with it, because, everybody says when you write something, you're going to send it to a production company, they do something with it, and that's the process, right? It ended up being, the standard, unfortunately, American 45-minute episode.
Right.
Which gets cut down to
Why unfortunate?
Well, because first and foremost, Britain doesn't know how to comprehend that. You have to cut that down to your 22-minute episode. If Chronicles went to TV, we would have to edit it a lot, and it would be difficult.
To British TV.
To British TV, yeah. And I blame my own crazy ignorance, I suppose. But it was a good thing. It was a good thing that I had that ignorance, and it was a good thing that I never really doubted my team, and I just kind of thought, well, this is a story I want to tell, let's go tell it. But yeah, it was
So it was written as a 45-minute then?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you filmed it, it ended up being a half hour?
Yeah, so we edited stuff out, tried to cut it down a little bit.
Was that a conscious decision to just try and make it
A
tighter?
bit tighter, yeah, I guess. I mean, it still needs to be tighter. That's, again, what we learned, because we
that was going to be my next question.
It's gonna be
You
my next question.
preempted.
Well, segue, but,
Shit.
Get the duck!
but yeah, no, it was a huge undertaking. It really was, and like I said, when I say I relied on my team, I mean I genuinely relied on my team. There were days when every single one of us, obviously had a bad day, needed fluffing, needed that inspiration and that dream and whatever.
doesn't mean that.
Stop
No.
it. No, but I'm serious.
I don't think she thinks it means something else, though. I don't think it means anything else other than what it actually means.
Or maybe.
I think
That's a hell of a blooper reel.
I think that's just
I
a word for.
really don't think
for
you should
that.
ask me questions if you're not going to listen to the answer.
Well, I was listening.
Okay.
It's just the way that you answer it.
We just
When you
got
say
distracted
you
by
say fluffing.
mental imagery.
Fluffing?
Yeah, in the most innocent of ways.
There is no innocent way of
Like
saying
they're
fluffing.
virgins?
God's sake. Listen, take your head out of the gutter and listen to my story.
Carry on.
So yeah,
Fluffy.
it was a long it was a long, arduous task. It really was,
Yeah.
and I don't think any of us really truly knew what we'd taken on. You're on set, you're in each other's pockets long periods of time.
Leave it.
I don't have one for that.
Okay.
And it can be stressful. It can be it's
Sure.
long hours. But the very first day we filmed, we were outside a church, and overnight, so we had all the sort of non-reputable people walking past, heckling us.
Priests.
No, like drug dealers and stuff.
All right. One of
Sort
those
of in the
churches.
area.
Not priests, drug dealers.
It was in the night, dude. We shot overnight. There was no one in the church. We were locked in the church grounds overnight.
And there were drug dealers coming in?
On the street, through the gates and stuff. Like, not at us, but like past us.
Just at you. Heroin! Okay.
Right, okay, so, and it was raining, and we had this big battle to... See, he's so bored.
Sorry, and it's my girlfriend's ringing me. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, so we had this...
Paul has a girlfriend.
Yeah, God. No, she's lovely. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
So we had this big battle to fight, Shire and Fenway and Cyan and the gang, everyone's fighting in the rain outside this church, and basically I managed to almost break my leg from multitasking, looking at my phone and walking down slippery stone steps, to the point where...
I'm not sure I have sympathy for that.
Yeah, it was
I
it was a bad call. It was a really bad call,
Yeah.
but I almost got sent to A&E. To be fair, I should have been sent to A&E. Many people said I should have gone to A&E. I'd take that off you. But I didn't, because I was the only producer on set at the time, and spent the next week on a walking stick. But my point is that...
Literally on a walking stick.
Using a walking stick.
Okay.
My point was that, that was literally 24 hours worth of shooting. We were shooting again the very next day, and none of us got sleep. We did not sleep, because we were in a 6-week back-to-back shooting every day situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are times when you just go, what the hell am I doing? Why am I putting myself through this? But you just gotta have faith in your team and in your story, I guess. And none of them would have been there if they didn't believe in the story. So, what was your question?
I don't remember.
Oh, the
I don't
arduous task.
remember.
Was it tough doing a half-hour show? Yes, it was very tough.
Well, not that. Was it tough making your first show such an ambitious one?
Yes.
Excellent. So,
But it also had lots of amazing, wonderful moments as well, which of course makes it... We had several birthdays on set.
we should maybe reframe, because there's... Maybe we should do a tour. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, so... oh, hang on. There we go.
Hey.
There we go. And if you look this way, there's a collection of N64 games and a Japanese Harold and Maude
The
poster.
big...
And then there's a wall of post-it notes, because we're serial killers. Okay, enough of that. We're
so
writing
your
a series.
second question had something to do with
Hmm.
time and...
My second question, oh, wait, hang on. If I do that, it looks like you're on my shoulder.
Not parrot.
No, but you might be one of those little cartoon angels or
Ask
demons.
the question.
Question was, I was going to ask if you were going to do it again, what you had learned and what you would change. But, plug, there's going to be a second season of Chronicles, and you are working on it at the moment. So for season 2,
Yes.
which is coming soon, what have you learnt and what will you change in terms of shooting it and things like that?
Less locations.
That was a segue, a plug, a question.
That was all kinds of squeakage.
Every duck imaginable. Carry on.
I feel like I'm miles away from you, dude.
That's okay.
Yes, less locations, which, to be fair, I love locations. When I'm writing, I want to jump here and there and everywhere, but actually, logistically, if you can have less locations in your series without killing your story or the mood or whatever, then do, because we ended up filming location by location. So 6 episodes, location via location. So the cast had different directors. We had 5 different directors, and we're doing different scenes throughout the 6 episodes via different locations because we had so many. I mean, we had a plane, we had a school that we rented out, we had warehouses, we had a blooming what do you call them? The Theo's cabin is an actual genuine container, like a shipping container. It's a genuine container we spent several days in, So yeah, that. I'm gonna probably try and keep things a lot more snappier. My dialogue as a writer pretty much bounces, and I kind of want to get a bit more of that in there this season. Lots more fights, lots more awesomeness. But essentially, I wanna take my team and make every single person on there absolutely integral. 100 people on set is a bit of a nightmare, as much as I love absolutely every one of them. So yeah, basically, from the experience of season 1, I just want to keep the things that worked, get rid of the things that didn't, and make season 2 a happier, calmer, more organized experience for us, so that the footage and everything, for example, the problems we had with sound, and all that stuff is, fixed and becomes better. There's no point in doing season 2 if it's less better than season 1.
Less better.
Yes.
The writing is going to improve.
Yeah, reading makes us speaking English good.
Cool. Chronicles 2. Less locations, more bouncing.
Yes, exactly.
More better.
More better.
Oh man, please make that the poster. Chronicles 2, more better. Please.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. You can make me one.
Paul's back.
Yeah, my girlfriend's locked herself out of our house. So she's like, and you know what the bad thing is that she actually rang me like 20 minutes ago in my pocket, and I didn't answer it because we were doing this. So I thought
she's been sat outside.
so
all
she's
the
been
time.
basically sat outside for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, Heather.
Sorry,
I
Heather.
love you.
Sorry.
But she's getting a taxi up here now to pick up the keys.
But
Brilliant.
That's very cool. Can she have a cameo?
Hashtag save Heather.
She could probably have a cameo, but I think she'd be
Okay,
pissed.
somebody hold my drink because I'm going to disappear now, but I'll be right back.
Okay, the last shot we're going to have is Heather's angry face just coming and dragging Paul away.
Just taking the laptop and throwing it out the window.
I am here. Okay. Why don't you ask
Hang on,
each other
hang on.
a question?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to throw us something
Do
before
you want to
we...
throw you something?
I don't know. Not like throw something at us, but... So we've got something to go on before you
Okay,
vacate.
okay.
Otherwise, we will
Friendship.
talk
Friendship,
rubbish.
friendship. You guys were really close before Future Duck. You're really close now. Would you say it's good to work with your friends? Or is it stressful? Or is it... What is it?
Ooh,
Tell them stuff.
that's going to open up a kettle of
Wow.
fish worms.
Wow.
It'll all be good.
I'm probably going to drink your wine while you're away,
We
by the
should
way.
have fishworms in series 2.
Fish worms, yeah.
Fishworms. Lawrence Fishworm.
And that's
You
how
heard it here first.
yeah, that's how
That's
our
how
writing
ideas come
process
about
works.
in the Future Duck process.
Yeah, puns on actors. Yeah, I don't know.
God, that's a very awkward question
is.
to be answering like next to each other on a sofa.
It is.
Yeah.
If we were answering it separately, it'd be different. But I don't know. No, I think it's good. I think if you're working with your friends, then you're a little bit more understanding if they don't like what you say, and if they shoot down an idea, you're not as sensitive about it. If you're working with a stranger or whatever, then you're like, well, what do you know?
Yeah.
But when you've known someone for a while and you kind of respect their sense of humour, and you know that you're kind of on the same page with something, they can probably see something and an idea that you can't, and likewise, they can say, that's not as good as it could be, or yeah, that's good, but this could be this, and that you'll like their suggestion because you're working from the same sort of hymn sheet,
Yeah, no, it's true. It's doing sort of idea bouncing around and kind of
that's the best part of the process.
It's
isn't
the
it?
best part of the process.
So fun.
But in order to really do it, like if you're a shy bastard, then it's it is just putting yourself completely out there and just having to be I was going to say completely naked. That sounds really bad, but it's like it's it's putting yourself out there and kind of like saying, hey, how about this idea? It may be completely rubbish. I'm just kind of like shooting stuff out there, and it's kind of like you have to. I've said shooting stuff out there and naked within like 2 sentences.
Yeah,
that's
soon
not
as
good.
Sue gets
Soon
back,
as
the
Sue
level
leaves,
just-
that's it's the subliminal Kate Hudson. But yeah, I think you kind of have to have. It's good to have that kind of.
Rapport?
No, not rapport. That kind of feeling of safeness,
I see, okay.
that you can kind of just shoot something. You could, not going to say that again, but you can just kind of
Sure,
like
yeah.
slam an idea out there. It might be bad, it might be good, but you have enough of a rapport that it's not sort of embarrassing or awkward or whatever. And then sometimes just from messing about like that, the best things
There
can
is a
come.
certain vulnerability with the sort of creative process where you feel like everyone's going to sort of judge you on your ideas, and most of the time your ideas are probably going to be a bit suspect, but that's kind of the part.
Suspect
of the
as in bad, not suspect as in
as in like
tree or anything.
yeah, call the cops. No, it's more like you have to sort of go through all the rubbish ideas and what have you, and then you will get the one idea out of your 50 ideas that is actually worth developing and exploring. Not every idea that you have is gold. Not every idea that you have is going to become a series or whatever, and it shouldn't be, because people think of weird stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Having someone who's a friend who can say, "Nah, that's not so good," or "But that is brilliant," is nice to have. But you can have that with someone who isn't a friend as well if you have a good working relationship with them. I think if you can find a good friend to work with, that's great. But I think you can also work with someone who isn't a close friend. But if you get on with them and you respect them and you like their sense of humour, then
you'll probably become mates, to be honest.
You'll become mates anyway. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know what you say about it being a nerve-wracking experience, because I've been on.
These are hot tamales, by the way.
It's the red pill from the Matrix.
Have you had one of them?
No. He eats weird stuff.
Yeah, he orders them in, especially from America.
Weird stuff.
They're
Anyway,
really, do you like cinnamon?
No,
really cinnamon.
I don't.
This
Or
isn't
licorice.
interesting.
And he likes all of those things.
I found all of Sue's hates, and I just introduced them into my lifestyle.
And aniseed.
Yes, aniseed. I know.
Oh, I
It's
love
because
aniseed
of where we
balls.
grew up.
Not like
Oh.
aniseed balls, but they're an old sweet.
But I was saying,
I was going to say I love licorice pipes. That sounds worse.
I'd be surprised how often these people talk over me. It's beautiful.
Sorry, Sue.
Sorry, Sue.
That's all right.
It's because we're in the front of the
Do
frame.
you want to
so
switch
it's like-
places for a bit?
Yeah.
No, it's cool.
You're like
Change it up.
Change it up. Or are you going to stop talking over me if I sit in front of you?
Yeah,
All right then.
that's how theatre works.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to go for a wee, so you can take my seat.
Oh right, well you can just like lie across the sofa then.
Sweet.
can't you? Changing it up. Change up, Doc.
So I was saying that I've been on stage in front of several hundred people and not been nervous at all. And then the day I took primary faction to be read, you're actually stealing attention by being adorable with a pillow while I'm talking. How is that not?
Pillow.
How is that not basically talking over me?
I said nothing. You took my pillow.
Well, I hit you with a pillow. I'm sure you can interpret the end of that story. Let's move on.
You want people to improvise the end of one of your anecdotes.
I'm saying, when I took primary faction to be read by my cast, I was so nervous that I couldn't sleep, that I felt ill, and I was pale and horrible, and all the people who I was traveling with to Leeds were just like, you look horrendous. So it is nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking. It's, when you put your soul onto a page and then you let people prod at it, it's scary. Yeah. I was just jumping on the end of what Paul said.
I do that all the time.
Are we going to edit this at all, or is this like just going to be like 4 hours of us just fucking rambling bullshit?
Are you going to sit here? Because I'm not going to lay here like some sort of crazy person.
Feels like
I'm not entirely sure what this is we've invented. I hope it's good enough.
Oh, what else should we do?
how about we do a bit of a shout out to any other web series that we've seen and would recommend and things like that?
Yes.
Would that be good?
Yes, that would be good.
Yeah?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to start, or are you starting?
Ooh, I don't mind. What do you want to do?
Cross
Okay.
shot.
Okay, well, we should probably give a shout out to the rest of the British web series.
What's this?
Absolutely.
Nice to do this.
Sue stole my pill.
He
Okay.
was being, like, cutesy behind me while I was talking. And he's, like, you know, drawing everybody's basic attention away from me. Like,
Ugh, sickening.
a big-ass slut.
Ugh.
That motorbike.
So, yeah, I bet you have to put up with that a lot.
No, everyone pays attention to me.
I'm sorry, I'm blatantly the least attractive in this room, aren't I? You're just like, it's fine. I
That's
get
one
all
of
the
those
attention.
questions where-
No, I just have my cock out. Yeah, it's got to that sort of got to that time, and where's the duck? I
Go on,
should probably
no,
duck that.
No, you can't have the duck.
Returning kind, Sue. Make it a real WebVee guy.
It is. This is my job. You're screwing with my job.
I know,
Yeah,
we're
sorry about
completely... She's fired. Anyway, what was the original thing?
The space.
Yes,
is back.
recommend other web series.
Yes, I want to recommend Darren Chadwick Hussein's Bloody
Ooh.
Mary.
That's the missus.
That was Bloody Mary. If you didn't hear that because of the
Okay.
bell, because that's awesome. That's horror, and it's really funny, and it's basically set in the underworld, and you know you've got some really awesome characters there. I literally, when I met Darren at Comic-Con. I was standing on a chair trying to put a poster up, and he kind of screamed in behind me and was like, "Get down, get down!" It's like the first memory I have of him. It was lovely, and he ended up putting the poster up in the end. So I decided to watch his show just because I adored him so much, and should have done it anyway because his promotional material is amazing. And I watched it back to back, and I cried. Have tissues. It's really, really, really cool.
Sorry, Paul's just like shouting outside. I'm not entirely sure what just happened.
I think it's dramatic.
What happened?
Oh, that's alright.
Okay. Other UK web series is Caitlin's web series Wimpole Street. We've already mentioned. We've already mentioned Elisar and Lisa's web series Threesome. Both those really worth checking out. Just going around at the different festivals and stuff.
Yeah. Ryan's
San Fran Land,
Really
Ryan
good.
Lynch's series is fantastic. A lot of the Frostbite Pictures series is fantastic. They're like a sort of production company that do a lot of shows like Polaris and Eternus.
Which hasn't hit yet, but is going to be insane.
It's great. And a few others. Seventh and Washington I love.
Pencil's Detective.
Pencil's
Oh,
Detective.
and Quirkology, which I've literally recently just seen and want it on DVD. Look that up because that's awesome.
State of Sin, which has Jewel State from Firefly in. It's a really innovative sort of animation series.
Yeah.
And Libras as well is a Spanish series, which is a really, really great drama. What else? Any others?
I'm trying to think.
There's probably a million that we're missing out at the moment, which is really bad. But
we're being horrible.
Have you said
We'll
I
follow
am
up.
Chris Jericho?
I am Chris Jericho with Chris Jericho.
I like that.
Yeah, which is great. And we met him at the LA Web Fest, and he really liked Future Duck as well, which was really, really cool. And you guys did an interview with him as
we
well,
did.
which was
We-
great.
Y2J.
I got a
Y2J.
hug. I was hugged.
You
Did
hugged,
he put
hugged
you in the
Jericho.
walls of
I
Jericho?
hugged the
Nice.
Jericho. It was
I
awesome.
would like to be put in the walls of Jericho.
Okay.
You two
Shout
don't even
out,
know what that is,
By
do
the
you?
way, to
You two aren't
Daniela.
wrestling fans. You don't even know who Chris Jericho
I
is.
know.
You don't know what
Shout
the
out
walls
to
of
Daniela.
Jericho is.
Sorry?
Daniela, hello.
Daniela as well, who does WebVee Guide and is lovely, and Jeff and Susan
Kyle
and
Susan,
Eli and everyone at WebVee Guide. This has turned into a bit of a loving, but yeah, okay.
Basically, anybody.
Now you're covering Kate Hudson's hoo-ha, and this is kind of all come into a big circle, like Kate Hudson's hoo-ha.
That's weird. I don't
And
want
so anybody that you find that's
Hoo-ha as
connected
well was
to
the channel
us-
that Future Duck went on. Segway Duck!
Segue up.
You've got to put it up to the camera if you're going to do a segue.
Fine.
There you go. That's the format.
This is what happens when you end up doing some form of random interview with two guys who are funny for a living.
And have 3 empty bottles of wine.
Which he shows...
I haven't even had wine.
See, that makes it look like we're drunk, but that's just your collection of empty bottles of wine.
Yeah, that's just your bedroom.
I just have that to show off.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other last questions? Because we can probably edit.
We could probably do
most
it
of this out.
stopping, couldn't we?
Can we edit out the bit where Heather came to pick up the keys?
You know, WebVee don't edit their videos. It's live streaming.
Oh man, did you just like throw keys at her?
Well, no, I didn't throw them at her. She turned up and the cab was here with the taxi with the meter running, and I
she was
gave
in
her.
a cab.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Because she has to get in because she's got work to do.
Okay, I've got a question.
This has got nothing to do with
sorry.
web series.
I've got a question, okay.
Yeah.
I have.
If...
Heather, also, we should just mention that throughout the best part of a year where we were doing Future Duck day and night, Heather was one of the long-suffering who had to basically put up with us animating and doing artwork and stuff.
She was a Future Duck widow.
Yeah.
Day and night. She was a bit of a Future Duck widow, and
when you do a full-on web
yeah.
series for no money and you're sort of spending all of your free time doing it, bear in mind your relationships can suffer. So if you're going to sort of get stuck into something that's really intensive, then make sure that
it's a relationship.
Yeah, are solid, because otherwise, they will suffer.
You'd be surprised how many people work on web series who are already married and working together on the web series, or are dating, or spend 6 weeks on set and end up dating, just because that's the lifestyle. It's tough, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. I think that's pretty true for film sets, for TV, for a lot of things, to be honest. Yeah, it's the lifestyle.
Okay, I have my question. It's a good question. If you could go back in time...
And kill... Carry on.
And tell yourself something before you started working on the series that was important, that you felt that you needed to know while you were doing it, what would you tell yourself?
At some point during the end of the series, there's going to be a situation where ironing is happening.
Oh, you have to tell that story, dude.
In a precarious way.
Tell the story. They need to hear that story. I laughed so hard when I heard this story.
Work on your center of gravity. Otherwise, scars happen.
And not the Lion King version.
Not the Jeremy Irons fun version, no. That would be the advice.
Okay.
Do we need to give context?
No, that's fine.
Well, no, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to anyone who's watching. So, of course, you need to give context.
The very last episode of Future Duck, basically, we were being put under a lot of pressure by the channel to deliver episodes, which weren't really quite ready yet. And as a result, we were doing, 22 hours a day shifts. And going a bit mad. And the last episode, we'd already had we both had random holidays sort of booked from months and months and months ago. We thought we'd be well done with the series by then. Paul was due to leave for the airport at
3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. that morning. At 2 a.m. we were still trying to finish one of the episodes. And it was all getting a bit frantic and hectic and crazy. Yes, as said, there was some rather precarious ironing going on with the iron sort of still on, and stumbling, and I can't quite remember, but
I don't think you're doing this story much justice.
Exactly. Do you know why? He's defending himself as he tells it. So you have to tell the story, but start where he finished, because otherwise this is going to go on forever.
Okay. Well. So yeah, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were trying to get some stuff done. We were at the living room table, and my girlfriend at the time, as Henry says, we were getting ready to pack stuff to go on holiday. So she was frantically ironing holiday clothes to sort of, pack stuff. And then she put the iron that was still on, like on the board, and then went off to do something. Henry and I were working, and then one thing led to another, and a glass of wine got spilt over the table. So we started to, panic a little bit because it was all going like over hard drives and like extension cords and stuff. So we were like, shit, we need to get it cleaned up because otherwise, the whole thing's going to bloody explode and, we're going to lose all our work and stuff. And we were sleep deprived and, desperate and what have you. So we were scrambling around.
I threw an iron at Paul.
So, well, skip to the end.
That's pretty much what happened, right? And he's got a scar from it now. That
Can we see the scar? Can we see it in close up?
Oh, I feel like I've just had my story muted.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Was that? Like,
the fucking guy who shows his hideous scar and just becomes. Yeah, there it is. It's that.
Yeah, web series can kill.
Yeah, there you go.
You keep saying web series. Is that proper English?
Web series is.
Isn't it web series? Like Giles. I'm going to Giles' house.
But there's not multiple Giles. If there were, the fan community would just gush like the doors in The
You
Shining.
make a good point, but is web series as a word?
No, I don't think this is good content.
Okay. Okay, Paul, if you could go back in time, what would you say to yourself before the series?
I mean, it sounds boring, but probably look more into, 3D animation, but that's not really a good general point for other people.
Young you would think you were well boring. If you had the powers of time travel and you went back and all you said was, dude, look into 3D animation.
Well, I could
Like
have done a rambling, boring story about an iron.
An iron,
It took
yeah, no,
10
that's-
minutes, and then I had to take over because you were doing it so little justice.
That's true,
And then
that is true.
You even cut me off when I was actually getting to it because yourself was so fucking bored by it. But no, I'm the dickhead here. No, it's fine. I'm the dickhead. I would say never work with Henry Dalton and just run. Run, Paul! Run as fast as you can to the hills!
Oh, God. Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know what I would say to my younger self. I think it's kind of hard to. I don't think that's a hard question to answer. What would you say to your younger self?
I would say, do not fall down those stairs.
You see, that's the
No,
thing.
I'm serious though, because I had a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder afterwards, which just made me a nightmare on set for like 3 days.
You have a habit of falling down, though.
I
You
do.
did that before our panel in Comic Con as well.
I did. That wasn't my fault though. That was the stairs weren't connected to the stage. That was like
so
a
you know what I
proper
would say?
technical fault.
I would say pay more attention to Heather. And
Aw.
don't. No, I mean that in a sort of advice way. Is like, as much as you get like consumed by the project, and you sort of, it takes over your life to the point where it can start to affect your relationships and what have you. And I think that's an important point, is that you shouldn't let that happen. As much as it is your passion project, it's not necessarily the passion project of your friends, your partner, your wife, your husband, whatever. And you need to remember that.
Yeah, but so that we're ending on a high. None of
Well,
us.
that is a high. That's
No,
good. I mean, that's a
this
good
is a
thing.
nice
It's not
romantic
like I'm not going to fire a
But do you
party
know what?
popper
Right,
off,
I think the theme of this, for some reason, has been to give advice and to like talk about genuinely the almost the darker side of web series and what its stresses there are and blah blah blah. Exactly.
That was
Face.
a theme.
Well, not really, but it ended up being a bit.
Theme Doug.
But I was gonna
Sure.
say that
There's no squeak left. We've squeaked this thing out. Okay.
it's like the little penguin in Toy Story.
Okay, carry on.
Okay.
You were saying something good there.
I
before
was
Toy
saying something good. None of us regret our time on our series.
No.
We are ridiculously proud.
Sure, absolutely.
And
It's an
extremely
accomplishment.
happy. And as much as we like to talk about the stuff that is difficult, there is so many highs, so many awesome moments. We're living it now. We've been doing the web series festival for like the last year, traveling around the world, meeting new people. You know, and that's fantastic. Personally, we sell quite a lot of merchandise. We go to Comic-Con, we meet all you guys, all the fans and stuff, and it's genuinely a dream come true for me personally, I think. And there's lots of lessons to be learned, but at the end of the day, so long as you see your vision come to life, there is nothing more exciting. I don't think. You're getting out like a tiny violin or something.
No, carry on.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's
No,
a really nice thought.
I absolutely agree. I think finishing our series and looking back on it now, I'm like immensely proud with what we did, and when we've had the reception from the festivals and certainly Comic-Con. I think Comic-Con was probably one of my highlights of last year, and actually getting to talk to people face to face about it and just have fun with them and what have you. Yeah, it is an amazing experience, and it's something that I think everyone who's interested in filmmaking and web series should enjoy, because it is infectious. It's good.
And we'll all be there at the next one in London.
We'll all be there at the next one in London. So come and see us.
That's in October?
It's in October. So I think it's like the 22nd to the 25th or something. I could be wrong. Look it up.
So for the 3 people that are still watching this podcast at like an hour and 10 minutes in, we'll see you there.
Yeah. Can we give them like something where, like, if they like a password or something, like for Twitter, if they send to prove they've watched this long.
Send us hashtag SegwayDuck.
Hashtag SegwayDuck, and we will send you a prize of some kind. Because wow, damn.
Yeah, cheers.
Well done. Seriously, and this is genuinely how evenings here go. So
cheers. Yeah.
Welcome to our world.
Chin chin. Is that the end?
That's the end.
That feels like a good ending.
Yeah.
I hope we didn't seem like dicks. Isn't that the wrong way?
I was going to say that upside down.
Credits? Oh, instant credits.
Instant credits, yeah.
You need to do like the MGM lion at the end.
All characters in this podcast have been fictitious.
Bye!
Bye!
See ya!